The Princess in Black and the Bathing Time Battle. Chapter 1. Princess Magnolia was in the castle kitchen designing a bridge. She placed the cups upside down for suppers. She balanced spoons and forks on top. She held her breath, but they all tumbled down. Too many forks and not enough supports. She would have to start over. Well, that stinks, said Princess Magnolia. Just then, an alarming smell floated through the window. Princess Magnolia stuck out her tongue. No, she said, that stinks. She checked her glitterstone ring. It wasn't ringing. No monster alarm, just an alarming smell. This smelled like a problem for the Princess in Black. A few minutes later, the Princess in Black and Blanky was galloping away from the castle. Do you smell it too, Blinky? She asked. Blanky sneezed. He most definitely smelled it, and he preferred to never smell it again. They followed the odor all the way to the goat pasture. The goats were gagging, the goats were gasping. A squirrel was turning green. I'm glad you've come, said the Goat Avenger. We've got trouble. It sure smells like trouble, said Princess in Black. The Goat Avenger kicked a cloud of stench. We can't battle it, Princess in Black. She punched the cloud of stink. Our ninja moves do nothing, Goat Avenger. Yeah, said the Goat Avenger. He kicked the stink harder. His foot passed through it. He fell over his bum. Blanky neighed. He swished his tail. Great idea, Blanky, said the Princess in Black. She opened her fan. She fanned her fan at the smell. It's working, said the Goat Avenger. The stench flew away to the south. At least the pasture air was stink-free. The goats cheered. The Princess in Black and the Goat Avenger had saved the day. Chapter 2. Princess Snapdragon was trimming the bushes in her garden. She loved the sunny spot. She relished the blooming scene. She savored the scene of flowers. Suddenly, a stink blew into the garden. The roses sagged, and the lilies curled up. The bluebells turned green. Her pet dragon, Moonwhistle, crouched behind the buttercups. She covered her snout. Oh, Moonwhistle, said the Princess Snapdragon, the odor is alarming. I wish I could make it go away. Moonwhistle hopped up. She pointed at a wing at the garden shed, where they kept their secret disguises. You're right, Moonwhistle, said Princess Snapdragon. We've prepared for this day. It's time at last. Together, they flew into the shed. When they flew out, they were no longer Princess Snapdragon and the Moonwhistle the dragon. They followed the stench out of their kingdom. They followed the stench right into the goat pasture. Wow, said the Goat Avenger. Another masked hero. It is I, Flower Girl, said Flower Girl, tossing a handful of rose petals. It was a nice touch, and this is my faithful companion, Horsefly, the Pegasus. Always nice to meet another hero, said the Princess Magnolia. She was out of breath from all that fanning. Princess in Black, said Flower Girl, you are fanning that horrible smell to the south. And to the south is Princess Snapdragon's kingdom. Oh no, that stinks, said the Princess in Black. It certainly does, said the Goat Avenger, wrinkling his nose. Perhaps we can chase the smell away with flowers, said Flower Girl. Horsefly landed on the grass, and Flower Girl handed out bouquets of roses. The heroes and animals battled their bouquet at the sink. It slithered away to the west. Now the day was saved, thanks to the three heroes and their faithful companions. Chapter 3. Princess Honeysuckle was dancing in her courtyard. She loved the flying leap. She relished a low crouch. She savored the joy of the dance. Suddenly, she heard cries of a lamb. Fursuit, what's happening? She asked her pet wolf. Fursuit winced. In the courtyard trees, the songbird was gasping. The songbird was gagging. A bluebird turned green. What a horrible stench, said Princess Honeysuckle. Fursuit, I think it might be the time. Fursuit smiled a wolf smile. The princess and wolf sneaked into the gazebo. They put on disguises. Then they rode straight to the goat pasture. Edie sighed. Cartwheel Queen did a cartwheel. It was a very good cartwheel. And this isn't a wolf. This is my dog. His name is Good Boy. Good Boy barked. It was a pretty good bark. Always nice to meet the new hero, said the princess in black. He followed a terrible odor all the way from Princess Honeysuckle's kingdom in the west, said Cartwheel Queen. Do you know where it's coming from? The three heroes smiled sheepishly. The goat smiled goatishly. We must have sent it there, said Flower Girl. How to get rid of this smell? Asked Cartwheel Queen. She did another cartwheel. Cartwheels helped her to think. Your cartwheel gave me an idea, said the Goat Avenger. Cartwheel Queen helped him fetch the goat's summer fan. They set it by the hole to Monsterland and pointed up. The fan blew a span and fast as a cartwheel. The wind from the fan pushed the stink into the clouds. And now, at last, the day was saved, thanks to four brave heroes and their faithful, fierce companions. Chapter 4. Princess Orchid was trying out the new zip line she'd built in the village playground. She loved a good whoosh. She relished a thrilling ride. She suffered the whooshing of the wind. But then she zip-lined right through a cloud of stink. Oh, said Princess Orchid, falling down. All around her, children were gagging. Children were gasping. One boy turned green. It was the smelliest smell anyone had ever smelled. Help, said a little girl. It's so gross. The smell, said a little boy, falling to his knees. The smell. I will fix this, said Princess Orchid. Somehow, Princess Orchid zip-lined back to her castle. Not a moose, Princess Orchid called out to her reindeer, who was not a moose. Not Moose followed her into the workshop. Princess Orchid whispered into her fur-tipped ear, the time has come. Notamus nodded. She slipped socks shaped like bunny ears over her antlers. They spotted the stinky trail going up into the clouds. It came down against the goat pasture, where a bunch of heroes were standing around the hole and a fan. Edie sighed. Miss Fixit, said Miss Fixit, and this is my faithful companion, Doom Rabbit the bunny. Doom Rabbit nodded. Her sock ear flapped up and down. I guess you've come from the north, said Cartwheel Queen. Where there was a horrible smell, said the Goat Avenger. And you've come to stop it, said Princess in Black. Yes, exactly, said Miss Fixit. We tried to push the stink up, said Flower Girl. What goes up must come down, said Miss Fixit. And it came down into Princess Orchid's kingdom. The Goat Avenger turned off the fan, and the stink once again settled on the goat pasture. The goats whimpered. One fell over with its hoof in the air. If it were a monster, I'd know what to do, said Princess in Black. But how do you find a stink? Chapter 5. Down in Monsterland, the monsters were groaning. The monsters was gas-gripping. A blue monster turned turquoise, all because of one extremely stinky monster. Usually, monsters enjoyed a good stink. They liked the moldy, dark-colored of caves. They enjoyed rotten fruits. Above all, they adored the odor of goats. But the stink monster was too much. Rotten fruit smooshed between its toes. Garbage clung to its back. Who knew what this stuff was on its head? There was even a tiny monster tangled in its filthy fur. It been stuck there since last week. Two big-nosed monsters could not stand it anymore. They plugged their faces. They grabbed the stinky monster and they jumped up right out of Monsterland. The big-nosed monster dropped the stinky monster at the goat pasture. They wiped their paws on the grass, and they didn't even try to eat goats. They just jumped back into Monsterland as fast as they could go, away from the stinky monster. Chapter 6. The heroes stopped battle poses. The stink was a monster after all. Oh, there it sat, in the goat pasture, being stinky. The stinky monster trod on a dirty paw. It winked. At last, we can fight the stink, said the Princess in Black. As soon as the monster says, "Egot," let's wage battle. The stinky monster burped. The Goat Avenger said, "You may not eat the wheat," said Princess in Black. It didn't say eat the goats yet. That was just a burp. Cartwheel Queen plunged her nose. "A stinky burp," she said. "Burp, burp," Flower Girl shouted. She fanned her bouquet at the burp. "Yes, let's try some batting cries," said the Princess in Black. "Behave, beast!" The stinky monster wipes its nose on the back of its fur. "Back, back, back to your infernal pit," said the Goat Avenger. The stinky monster scratched under its armpit. Goat gauged. "You may not gauge the goats," shouted Miss Fix-It. The stinky monster lay down on its back. It watched the cloud float by. Monster," said the Princess in Black. The stinky monster plunged goo from its ear. It brushed the goo through its head fur. "How do we fix this?" asked Miss Fix-It. Chapter 7. The Princess in Blanket and her unicorn Connie trotted into the goat pasture. She had come for a hero princess playdate. The pasture was the perfect place for a playdate. Sunshine, breezy slopes, fresh air, and sometimes monsters come out of the hole so they could wage battle. Hooray! There was a monster in the pasture today, and more friends, she waved. The Princess in Blanket, she tried to shout, but then the stink cloud hit her. "Urgh!" she said, dropping off Connie's back. What happened to all the fresh air? Washcloth spilled out of her hat. Miss Fix-It picked them up. Said Miss Fix-It. "What if we give the monster a bath?" said Hero Princess all sat together. The Gold Avenger would have said it too, but he was running to the shed to fetch the goat's tub. Chapter 8. The stinky monster was stinker than a full litter box. It was stinker than a closed toilet. It was stinker than a pile of dirty diaper on a hot summer day. The stinky monster was so stinky, it was more stinky than the monster. The heroes were armed with washcloths and scrub brush, water buckets and goat soap, and one big goat-sized tub. But the smell was too gross. The stink, it's too gross, said the princess in blanket. They couldn't get near the monster. We can't even get near the monster, said Flower Girl. The princess in black pointed at the tub. Monster, you need a bath, she said. No, said the monster, no bath. Behave, beast, said Cartwheel Queen, and get in the tub. No bath, said the monster. Other and moo cows, said the princess in blanket. What can we do? Chapter 9. The Gold Avenger took a deep breath and then ran into the stink clouds. He said, "Arr!" Then he said, and then he fainted from the smell. The princess in black hooked the Gold Avenger's ankle with a rope. She pulled him back to safety. Heroes, she said, none of us can do this alone. We need support. We need to work together. We can't get near it, said Miss Fix-It, so maybe we can watch it from a distance. A big distance, said the Flower Girl. So they made a flag from a big distance. Ready? Said Miss Fix-It. Flower Girl leaped onto Horsefly's back. Cartwheel Queen put her hands up, ready to cartwheel. The princess in black and the princess in blanket aimed horses. Now, said Miss Fix-It. The Gold Avenger turned on the water. Cartwheel Queen cartwheeled around the monster, spraying soap as she went. From above, Flower Girl dropped bathing bombs. The monster rolled. It was a huge, bubbly, soaking wet mess. The stink wasn't gone, but it was better than before. Now the heroes could get closer. No baths, roared the monster. Yes, baths, said the princess in black. Eat bath, roared the monster. It swallowed the water and some of the soap. It took a bite of the tub, and it burped of a bath bomb. You may not eat your bath, said the princess in black. And so the heroes and the stinky monster waged battle. Soapy sleep, water plush, tinkle tinkle little splash. Chapter 10. The heroes didn't stop until there was no more stinky monster. Now it was a fluffy monster. It was the fluffiest fluff of the monster of a monsters the heroes had ever seen. Oh, it's so cute, said Flower Girl. The fluff monster sniffed its fur. It sniffed its armpit. It sighed a sigh of relief. So did the tiny monster, finally untangled from the frunky fur. "Oh, they're the cuties," said the Flower Girl. The monster sniffed the air. Now that the stink was gone, they could smell goats. "Goat," said the tiny monster. "Eat goat," said the fluffy monster. The heroes stuck battle poses. "You may not eat the goat," they got to say at last. There were a lot of heroes. The monsters looked at each other. They shrugged. "Okay," said the tiny monster. "Bye-bye," said the fluffy monster. And together they jumped back into Monsterland. "Phew," said the princess in black. "I never could have watched the stinky monster all by myself." That was a situation too stinky for a single hero. said the Gold Avenger. Yes, it's too good to have suffered, said the Princess in Blanket. How can we find you? Oh, if we need, be careful again. I have an idea, said Mix Fixit. She showed them a small pink stone. I discovered that when I shined a light through it, a pink sparkle twinkled up in the sky. I have a stone just like that, said Princess in Blanket. Princess Lizard gave it to me. I've got one from Princess Honeysuckle, said Cartwheel Queen. Mine was a gift from Princess Orchid, said Mix Fixit. And now I have one from Princess Snapdragon, said Flower Girl. Isn't it wonderful, said Princess in Black. How many princes and heroes are friends? All of my friends are princes and heroes, said the Gold Avenger. Also good. And a really interesting squirrel. Squeak, said the squirrel. Whenever we need help, said Princess in Black, we can shine a light into a stone, and the sparkle signal will show up in the sky. Who knows, said the Princess in Blanket. Maybe there are even more heroes out there. Maybe they will see it too. Fly, Blinky, fly. More adventures with the Princess in Black. The end.